Hi, everybody. I'm Soledad O'Brien. I'm a journalist, and I'm a producer for Matter of Fact with Soledad O'Brien. I am a proud advisory council member for Advancing Black Pathways. It's an initiative from JPMorgan Chase to drive economic growth in the Black communities. So today, we take an inside look into the career of an internal client advisor. I'm here with Adam Sukop. He's the head of internal client advisor sales team at JPMorgan. And Shabin Rehman, she's an internal client advisor at JPMorgan Asset Management. They're going to share what it's like to work in the field. Also, they'll tell you how you can access open internal client advisor roles within JPMorgan, which means jobs, jobs, jobs. Nice to have you both with me.
So glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Well, let's talk about what your jobs actually are, because they're quite lengthy. Head of the internal client advisor sales team.
It's a mouthful.
It really is. What does that mean?
Sure. So I work with internal client advisors, just like Shabin, who are located either in New York, Chicago, or Columbus, and they spend their time working across the country with financial advisors at many of the big broker-dealer firms like a Merrill Lynch, a Morgan Stanley, and Edward Jones, or maybe some RIA firms, and they work with them to help them understand how can they find the right solution for their client. Again, every client's different, every client's looking for something a little unique and special, and that's what our team does. And so I work with all of our teams across the country to make sure they've got all the tools, the resources, the training.
Exactly right. So like Adam said, we talk to the financial advisors across the territories we support about market insights. We have JPMorgan solutions based on some of those insights, and we're able to help out with portfolio analytics for those advisors as well. So we wear a lot of hats as internal client advisors, which makes the job a lot of fun.
Tell me how you got your start, because I think for a lot of people when it comes to banking, there's a sense that, you're a math wizard in elementary school, through high school where you're nailing calculus, and then you get your degree in finance and possibly mathematics, and then you go on to be in banking. And we've talked to a lot of people who talk more about relationships necessarily than a degree in finance. Talk a little bit about your pathway.
Absolutely. So my pathway to an internal client advisor starts with me not even knowing the role existed, let alone the industry, really. So I started out studying in my undergraduate for international affairs. I was a political science major, really focused on becoming a lawyer and probably working in international development. Fast forward to post-graduation and post-sitting for an LSAT exam, I don't want to do it anymore, and I'm kind of stuck, like a lot of 22-year-olds end up feeling. And so I have a friend who happens to be at Chase. I'm working on some side projects in the meantime in digital media, and he says, why don't you just go and try out for this banking job? What's there to lose? Great. I go and I try for it, land the job, enter the world of financial services, which does allow me to get a few of my financial licenses.
What was that first job?
It was a personal banker at Chase right here in Manhattan. That kind of really opened the door into an industry and a world I had really no knowledge about prior to. So I start there as a personal banker. I do that for about a year and a half, a little shy of 2 years. And in that time, I actually meet another internal client advisor. So again, I was in Manhattan and meeting a lot of internal JPMorgan employees. She tells me I'd be perfect for this role. Mind you, I have no idea what she's talking about. She says, you gotta meet my boss. Sure, kind of getting the itch to move on to the next challenge. And that's when my world really opened up to the internal client advising role and generally just to asset management and what that part of the bank really does. I think a unique pathway into the role, but not so different from so many other folks at 22 and 23 just trying to figure it out.
And how amazing that it really sometimes is about bumping into somebody or leveraging a relationship before you realize what actually might be a perfect fit. You just didn't know it at the time.
Absolutely. And just being open to trying something new and having that mindset of, I'm open to at least learning about what this could be about and see if it might be for me.
What was your pathway?
So I was one of those people who had the accounting degree.
Elementary school accounting degree,
right.
yep.
No, but so look, I started, the first 10 years of my career was heavy into commercial banking, investment banking, bond underwriting, the hard stuff. And I decided, look, I can do the stuff behind the computer and the spreadsheets, but I was much more interested in working with investments and really working with people.
There are not very many female financial advisors. I think 1 in 5 at the best, so the best possible numbers. Talk to me a little bit about challenges. Did you find any working in a heavily male-dominated field?
Yes, absolutely. So I think just some of the few challenges come from not being familiar with the industry. So right there, just trying to catch up on the capital markets and learn some of the jargon in an industry, again, that you've no experience in, it can be a little bit challenging. And second to that, being at a place as big as JPMorgan can feel really overwhelming sometimes. And then in terms of being maybe a minority on the team in a few ways, as a woman, as an Indian American as well, I think that presents challenges. And what I have realized over the last 5 years of being at JPMorgan is that I've been able to navigate those challenges all in the same way, and it was really through the support of my peers and my mentors.
For people who don't necessarily have a finance background or a banking background, are there ways that they can get kind of up to speed on the places in which they actually need to have a better grasp of finance and banking?
Yeah, it's a misconception. People do feel that they need to have that finance background to be successful. Now, it doesn't hurt, but we can teach you and train you on the nuts and bolts of the job. But what's harder to do is teach the personal relationship skills. And if you have those types of skills, you can be really successful in here.
People talk about relationships a lot in banking, more than they talk about math, more than they talk about a finance background, frankly, relationships and the passion around people. Tell me a little bit about what you mean by that exactly.
Sure. So the people that end clients and advisors want to work with, they don't want somebody to give them information that may not be truthful or accurate. People want to work with people that they like and people that they trust. And that's what we do, and we do really, really well at JPMorgan. You need to be comfortable having conversations. People are also going to say, like, no thanks, I'm not interested. So there's a little element of that, but that's the relationship or the nature of a sales job.
One of the things that I've liked about working with Advancing Black Pathways is this very tactical and strategic thinking about how to increase diversity. Why does diversity matter in what you guys do? Sure. Why does it even matter?
Maybe I can start, and if you want to fill in,
that'd be great.
Yeah.
So why it matters, I think there's 2 reasons. Number 1 is we serve hundreds of thousands of advisors who serve millions of clients. And we all know that not everybody is the same. There are lots of different needs out there, lots of different perspectives, lots of different backgrounds, and the ability to network and leverage from all of those people makes our team better as a whole, right? It's really one of those situations where the combination or the sum of the parts is better than each individual unit on its own.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so I think that's one of the reasons why, we've talked a little about why you don't necessarily need a finance background or need to be a math whiz. It is because of that idea sharing. There's so much communication within the team, and so just really focusing on certainly a diversity in gender and sexual orientation, etc., that definitely matters for our clientele, but just a diversity of thought. Me having an international affairs background where I started this role and this job thinking that PM meant prime minister, not portfolio manager. That, being able to overcome that.
Evening. But carry on.
That too. Just being able to overcome that is absolutely because of the diversity of thought.
Thank you so much, Adam and Jabin. I really appreciate it. Great conversation. You can also go to jpmorganchase.com/ABP careers if you want to catch the replay of this episode or any of the episodes that are in our career series. Thank you for tuning in to the career series. It's brought to you by Advancing Black Pathways, and I'll see you next time.